Have you ever felt a subtle itch in your soul, as if the life you're living is a pale shadow of a greater reality? Perhaps you sense deep down that something about this world is off, like you're trapped in an invisible mental prison built by society and your own mind. You might even describe it as living in a matrix with an inner voice, whispering that there's more beyond the everyday routine. That inner stirring is no accident. It's the beginning of a profound journey of spiritual awakening, a journey that countless seekers have traveled before you. It starts when you begin to suspect that your mind has been lying to you about the nature of reality, keeping you confined in limiting beliefs. This awakening process unfolds in levels or stages, each with its own challenges and revelations. By understanding these levels of spiritual awakening, you can recognize where you are on your journey and find reassurance that you're not alone. In this guide, we'll explore 5 key levels of spiritual awakening, from the first spark of dissatisfaction with ordinary life, all the way to enlightened awareness and beyond. Each level brings you closer to your true self, peeling away illusions like layers of an onion. Read on to discover which stage resonates with you and what lies ahead on the path out of the matrix and into a higher state of consciousness. The journey often begins with disillusionment, a gnawing sense that the pursuits and pleasures that once drove you now feel empty. You might wake up in the morning and wonder, is this all there is? The career, the parties, the shopping, the social media validation, none of it fulfills you anymore. Dissatisfaction and emptiness set in as you realize you've been trying to find happiness through material success or external approval, yet lasting joy always seemed just out of reach. It's like chasing a mirage. Each goal achieved or desire fulfilled yields only fleeting satisfaction before the void returns. You start to question the false and selfish ways of the world that everyone else seems to accept. Perhaps you see people around you stuck in loops of working, consuming, and competing, and it strikes you as a kind of sleepwalking. In level 1, your soul is essentially waking up enough to notice its own slumber. You may feel restless, unfulfilled, or even depressed without quite knowing why. This stage is often accompanied by a poignant honesty with yourself. You admit that something vital is missing in your life. A deeper meaning, a sense of purpose, a connection to something greater. This realization can be unsettling, but it is incredibly powerful. It is the call to adventure, the same as the hero's journey beginning with a refusal to continue living in illusion. Your higher self is urging you to seek more, to break free from the autopilot existence that has kept you comfortably numb. And though it might feel like a cloud of confusion or frustration now, this disillusionment is actually a gift. It propels you to step onto the spiritual path in search of truth. At level 1, signs you're here include a persistent feeling that ordinary life is not enough, questioning things you used to take for granted, and a longing for deeper purpose. You may also experience the collapse of some illusions. Perhaps achieving a big dream, a promotion, a marriage, a lifestyle goal left you surprisingly unsatisfied, sparking the thought that true happiness must lie elsewhere. Take heart. This stage is setting the stage for transformation. The discomfort pushes you to answer the call and begin seeking what truly matters to your soul. Disillusionment naturally leads to seeking. In level 2, you become a seeker actively searching for answers, insights, and practices that can fill the spiritual void you've discovered. Having recognized that the conventional paths didn't bring you peace, you begin to look at your life critically and strip away what no longer serves you. This often involves renunciation or simplification. You might start letting go of habits, relationships, or pursuits that feel toxic or hollow. It's not always easy. You may find you were deeply attached to some of these comforts or distractions, but you feel an inner drive to make space for something more meaningful. As one spiritual writer notes, only through having nothing can we truly become everything, meaning that by shedding the inessential, you open yourself to the infinite. During this seeking phase, your curiosity explodes. You feel drawn to books, videos, and teachings on spirituality, mysticism, and self-help. Perhaps you start meditating, journaling, practicing yoga, or studying esoteric subjects. It's like a whole new world of ideas opens up. Concepts like the soul, karma, synchronicity higher dimensions, and enlightenment suddenly fascinate you. You might even encounter a mentor or guide, whether in person or through their writings, who offers guidance and resonates with what you're experiencing. It's common at this stage to feel a mix of excitement and overwhelm. Excitement because you're finally finding hints of the truth, little synchronicities or insights that feel like cosmic breadcrumbs leading you onward. And overwhelm because questioning your old beliefs can upend your understanding of reality. At times, your mind may feel like a chaotic circus during this stage, symbolized by the monkey mind swinging from thought to thought, stirring anxiety and confusion. You might find it challenging to focus or to discern which path is right for you, as so many new ideas flood in. But don't let the chaos discourage you. The very fact that you're questioning and exploring is a sign of progress. Your intuition is waking up. You're learning to listen to that inner voice that nudges you toward what resonates and away from what doesn't. In Level 2, signs you're here include voracious reading or consuming spiritual content, trying out practices like meditation or energy healing, feeling drawn to mystical topics, from astrology to quantum physics, and possibly distancing yourself from old routines or social circles that no longer feel authentic. You are, in a sense, detaching from the matrix bit by bit, challenging the status quo and seeking a higher truth than the one you were fed. Every question you ask and every new practice you try is an act of empowerment, bringing you one step closer to awakening. This stage can last for months or years as you gather knowledge and have small epiphanies that pave the way for a bigger breakthrough to come. At a certain point in your search, if you persevere, a remarkable event occurs: the initial awakening experience. This is Level 3, the first big breakthrough where you glimpse the reality beyond the veil. It might happen gradually through dedicated practice, or it could strike suddenly in the midst of crisis or even ordinary life. One day, seemingly out of nowhere, enlightenment strikes, maybe during deep meditation or while watching a sunset, or even in a moment of despair when you surrender and let go. In that instant, everything changes. People often describe this moment as mind-blowing and blissful. You may feel a surge of unconditional love and interconnectedness, as if the boundaries between you and the universe dissolve. It's a joyous, mind-shattering occurrence in which you fully realize your immortal being, a direct awareness that you are more than just a little ego living a tiny life. You sense vividly that all of life is one, that the universe fits into place perfectly, and you finally belong in that cosmic puzzle. In this state, everything makes sense at a profound level. Age-old questions are answered not by words, but by an overwhelming knowing deep in your soul. You might have visions or insights, feel bathed in light, hear intuitive guidance, or simply experience pure bliss. The outer phenomena vary. Some have classic mystical experiences with bright lights or celestial music. Others just feel an indescribable peace. But the essence is the same. You wake up from the dream of ordinary reality, even if only briefly. As one source puts it, bliss is all there is in that moment. This breakthrough is a peak spiritual experience. Signs you're here or have been here include an episode of intense euphoria or peace, feeling a oneness with everything, perceiving divine presence or inner light, or an inner explosion of insight that forever changes how you view life. You might realize firsthand that consciousness is fundamental and that you are eternally connected to the source. Many refer to this as seeing the truth or meeting your higher self. Often people emerge from this experience with tears of gratitude, humbled and awed by the sacredness of life. However, it's important to note that this Level 3 awakening, as amazing as it is usually just a glimpse, a preview of enlightenment rather than permanent liberation. It's sometimes called illumination, a stage where true reality is touched but not yet fully grasped. The door to truth has opened, but it hasn't yet stabilized. And indeed, what comes next can be surprising, even disheartening. After touching the heavens, you may find yourself back on Earth with a thud. The ego returns, and with it, a new challenge arises, one that leads you into the next level of awakening. After an awakening high, many seekers enter what's known as the dark night of the soul, level 4 of our journey. This is a profound and often difficult stage, marked by the dissolution of old identity and the purging of deep-seated shadows. When the bliss of the initial awakening fades, you're left with the stark contrast between the truth you've glimpsed and the life you're still living. Your ego, sensing its impending demise, may retaliate with fear, confusion, and despair. Old traumas, doubts, and fears flood to the surface to be acknowledged and healed. It can feel like you've taken a giant leap backward, but in reality, this darkness is a sacred part of the process, a final purification before lasting enlightenment. St. John of the Cross, who coined the term dark night of the soul, described it as a stage where your attachments and self-concepts are burned away so that true reality, the divine, the oneness, can fully reveal itself. In other words, the false must die for the truth to be reborn within you. This stage can be emotionally overwhelming. You might feel abandoned by God or the universe and utterly alone. Depression, anxiety, and a loss of meaning are common as your old sense of self crumbles. It's as if you're in a long, dark tunnel, not sure if there's any light at the end. You may even wonder if your awakening was a lie because now you feel more lost than ever. Take comfort. This bewilderment is actually a sign that the process is underway. The dark night often includes confusion, a sense of helplessness, and a feeling of isolation. It's a bit like a spiritual detox. You are releasing the ego's grip, which is painful, but the result is a cleaner, clearer you. Many report that during this stage, life circumstances can get rocky too. Relationships might fall apart, careers might change, or you might face health challenges, or losses that shake you to your core. These external trials often catalyze the inner transformation, forcing you to let go of control. You might feel as if you've fallen into a raging river, and all you can do is surrender to the currents, as your old beliefs and identity are being torn away. Signs you're in level 4 include a deep downturn after a period of enlightenment or positivity, existential depression that doesn't seem to have a simple external cause, intense self-questioning, and feeling disconnected from what used to matter to you. You could also experience vivid inner work at this time, confronting childhood wounds, undergoing shadow work, or feeling the presence of your own inner demons, fears, guilt, anger that you must face and release. The image of battling demons is apt because it can literally feel like wrestling with darkness. Yet remember, this darkness is not here to destroy you, but to free you. It's during the dark night that you learn surrender and trust at the deepest level. You learn to cling not to your ego or will, but to something higher. Call it God, Source, or the wisdom of your own soul. It's often said that the night is darkest just before the dawn, and so it is spiritually. As crushing as this phase can be, it ultimately leads to a breakthrough. The death of the old self, ego, gives birth to a more radiant, true self. In mystical terms, this is where the crucifixion precedes the resurrection. Hold on through the night, for dawn is coming. Finally, you emerge from the dark night, blinking into the morning light of a new consciousness, level 5, the stage of enlightenment and integration. This isn't the end of growth. In fact, it's often a new beginning. But it is a profound shift into living from your awakened state consistently. Here, the insights gained in your journey settle into your being. The ego that once dominated you has loosened its grip or dissolved significantly, and a new sense of self is in charge. Your higher self, aligned with the universe. You experience what mystics call transcendence, the feeling of being beyond the small self, identified now with the universal self. In this state, you truly understand and feel that you are one with all that is. There is often a beautiful sense of oneness with all living beings in the cosmos, a knowing that the same consciousness in you exists in everyone and everything. Love flows naturally because the barriers of separation have been lifted. You perceive the divine in the mundane. Life is imbued with meaning, as if the whole world has been reborn in your eyes. Crucially, enlightenment is not just a peak experience here. It becomes an embodied reality. You carry a peaceful center within you that remains, even amid life's ups and downs. This doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or emotions again. but you relate to them differently, with wisdom and equanimity. Imagine that all the spiritual insights that were once intellectual now live in your heart. Compassion, forgiveness, and gratitude become second nature. You understand the play of the universe, seeing synchronicities and miracles everywhere. Freedom is another hallmark of this level. Freedom from fear of death, freedom from being controlled by societal conditioning, freedom from compulsive desires. You now move beyond the limitations of the ego and connect with a universal truth. Many at this stage feel a calling to help others or to serve the world in some way, radiating the light they found. Yet, level 5 is also called the stage of integration for a reason. Enlightenment isn't a static endpoint. It's a lived experience that deepens over time. You continuously integrate your higher consciousness into the daily human life. Think of it like this: the volatile, magical elixir of awakening that was so hard to hold on to in earlier stages has now stabilized into a solid form. A crystal, an imperishable crystal, of awareness that remains strong and clear no matter what happens. This crystal is the jewel of your spiritual awakening, the pure consciousness that you polish and look through in order to perceive truth at all times. In practical terms, you likely have a regular spiritual practice, like meditation, prayer, or mindfulness in everyday activities, that keeps you connected to Source. You have integrated your spiritual values into your work, relationships, and lifestyle. Life becomes your meditation. Signs you're in level 5 might include an enduring sense of inner peace, frequent states of joy or bliss without any external reason, feeling guided by intuition or divine intelligence, and an absence of the existential fears that used to plague you. You live more in the present moment than in regrets of the past or worries of the future. People around you might notice a change in your demeanor, a calm or radiance that wasn't there before. Importantly, you realize that even enlightenment is not a finish line. In fact, at the highest level of awakening, you often find yourself back at a humble beginning of new learning. As one teacher explains, at the final stage of awakening, you come to realize that despite all you've learned, you are often at the beginning of new levels of insight. Spiritual growth is a continuous, cyclic process, not a linear path. This awareness keeps you grounded and open. You remain a lifelong student of the infinite. In level 5, you have the wisdom to know that awakening is an ever-unfolding journey. There are always deepening layers of love and truth to explore. By now, you should have an idea of which level of spiritual awakening you resonate with. Remember, these levels are not rigid boxes or a strict ladder. The journey is often non-linear. You might find yourself experiencing elements of multiple stages at once, or cycling back through a stage you thought you finished. That's normal. Spiritual awakening is a spiraling path, each turn of the spiral bringing you to higher wisdom, with a familiar echo of where you once were. There is no competition or rush because this is your soul's perfectly timed unfoldment. Wherever you are, whether you're just starting to question reality in level 1, or navigating the challenges of the dark night in level 4, or even basking in the unity of level 5, know that each stage has a purpose. Honor the phase you are in. If you're in the throes of disillusionment or crisis, trust that it's prompting you to grow. If you've had a beautiful awakening moment, cherish it and let it motivate you to continue your practice with dedication. If you're integrating enlightenment, stay humble and keep sharing your light as the journey goes on. Ultimately, spiritual awakening is about liberation. Liberation from the false and awakening to the truth of who you really are. You are not just a small separated self. You are an infinite, eternal being having a human experience. As you progress through these levels, that truth becomes more and more real to you. You begin to live from your soul, not just your mind. You step out of the matrix of conditioned illusions and step into the great mystery of existence, free and empowered. Ask yourself, am I awake? This question isn't meant to judge. It's meant to inspire you to be present and aware. Awakening is a magnificent delight, and it is available to you in this very moment. No matter how many layers you have shed or how many still remain, your journey is sacred. So take a deep breath, embrace the level you're in, and trust the process. The dawn of a new consciousness is breaking, and you, brave soul, are right on time. Keep going. Each step you take, each insight you realize, is lighting up the path for those who will follow. And as you continue to awaken, you become part of the great collective shift, helping to illuminate the world one level at a time. Are you ready to take the next step? The choice, as always, is yours. The journey of awakening continues, and the universe is cheering you on towards your highest destiny.